Hello, woke warriors. Today we are going to analyze a very inflammatory accusation on Dr. Fauci on the CDC. But don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And let's jump into it.
Anthony Fauci. That's a very controversial subject. Hopefully this video doesn't get taken down. Robert Kennedy Jr., doctor, he's been all over the internet lately. I never heard of this guy before. It was the first time that I actually heard about him a couple of days ago, and I saw this video. It seems interesting. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I met with Anthony Fauci in 2016 when I was going to serve on a vaccine safety commission for Donald Trump. And during that meeting, I said to him, for many years, Tony, you have said that when I have said not one of these vaccines have ever been tested, safety tested, you've said that I was not telling the truth, that I was promoting misinformation. Can you show us a test from any of those vaccines? He made a show of looking through these Redwell files that he had that they had rolled in from NIH on a card. And he said, I can't find any at the moment. They're back in Bethesda. I'll send them to you. Well, of course he never did. And I sued Fauci, sued HHS and said, can you produce any of these files? Because how can you be mandating a product to children when you do not know what its risk profile is? And after a year of stonewalling us, HHS came back with a letter and said, yeah, there are no studies. So that's the problem.
Watch now on
I met
Epoch
with
Times.
Anthony Fauci in 20...
This is pretty much an attack on Fauci's character and or integrity, which can be attackable. Why? Because we live in America, and America is a capitalist country. And a capitalist country offers capitalist solutions. It's no secret that lobbying is a thing. Lobbying is not, it's akin to a form of legalized bribing, right? In other countries, we call it bribing because why? We're paying, we're buying for influence. And in America, we call it lobbying. It's part of the process. Why? Because you have to get funds. Money talks, money opens doors, and money is a vessel to create the outcomes that you want. So you can influence people by funding campaigns, by funding education programs, it's almost like it's the free market deciding where to put its money and what causes are valuable or not. So this is pretty much the setup, right? So now you have these figures who are in office they're not vulnerable to this influence. That's part of their job. There will always be an exchange, like quid pro quo of sorts, where the politician or the campaign or the party gets money in exchange for influence, to a moment to sit at the table, to listen to the problem. So inevitably, you'll have the people with money influencing the decisions that will obviously benefit the people with money. So whether is it a lab, any kind of research and development, any kind of industry that might need some legislation to favor them, or to kill legislation that would harm their business, because they're in the business of making money. Everything is a vessel to make money. And I don't think that necessarily there's anything wrong with that. I'm not knocking capitalism itself, but I'm just observing that this is a reality and these things do happen. So why am I saying all of this? Well, people who make the decisions, they are not exactly in the field. They might have been at one point in their career, but eventually when you find yourself in a position of leadership, or if you're a congressman, or if you're not no longer in the quote unquote trenches, you're not doing the research, you're not doing the development. You're probably a veteran in your own industry. You've acquired all these relationships, and now you're going to buy the research that may or may not be sponsored by a company because they have the interest in proving that their whatever drug or their line of business works and it's safe or it is necessary, right? I come from a country who has total trust in vaccines. I am hyper vaccinated. I have never for a second doubted the vaccines, because if you learn your history, you'll understand I have never had to live through polio or to live through any of these viruses or conditions that would just kill and kill and kill and kill. I don't have to fear tuberculosis. It's almost like vaccination is a victim of its own success, because it created a generation of people who did not know what all these like life-ending diseases were. And because of COVID, now we entered an era where we doubt the efficiency. There is a lot of misinformation everywhere. Which is not to say that there's still money influencing these decisions and these moments. Now, I don't know, I have no idea about what this person, Robert Kennedy Jr., is alluding to. I know there are certain vaccines that even here in this country, it's not part of the standard vaccination calendar for an infant in Europe. Being an European, I trust more the veto process in Europe, but maybe it's also influenced or tainted by the same influences. It doesn't really matter. Like what I do know is that these diseases were very, very real, and these vaccines had a very, very real effect, a very, very positive effect, and that the net good that they brought far outweighed the cons or the potential complications that you can get. Now, can you save everybody? No. This is a hard pill to swallow. Is it a hard truth to accept? Yes. Is it a socialist angle? Oh, well, what matters is the individual. I don't know. It's a very moral, heavy decision to say, like, some people will die, but most will live. And if we don't do anything, most will die. But how can we, in consciousness, say that, okay, I guess it's a small price to pay, because we always think it's going to be somebody else. It's never going to be us. It's never going to be our children. It's never going to be our loved ones, our close ones. In a way, I don't think that this questioning, I won't say questioning because it's important to question. The sowing of a doubt and not having the ability, as an individual who are watching this video right now or who was watching this video before, to parse this information and to really understand like how gullible or how easy it is to convince somebody else. You should be equipped with the tools to be able to honestly filter this information, because information is very easily manipulated, and it's very easy to create emotional responses to anything, because I can find examples of that are so polarizing in really opposite directions, and they can't both be true, right? I can say one thing and it's exact opposite, and I can explain how this side, the anti-vaxxers, they're so right, because I can show you a bunch of information that would justify you reaching that conclusion, and I can show you the opposite information that shows how amazing and important vaccines are in the grand scheme of things. And it becomes like a charisma battle, a battle of opinions, a battle of validations of your biases. Oh, I always thought there was something wrong with vaccines. This person agrees. I always knew there was something. Therefore, I'm going to jump into this boat. And the opposite is true for the other side. So it's really complicated. So all I can say is really, to the best of your ability, we can't be experts in every field. So to the best of your ability, you just have to, instead of being told what to think, you need to learn how to think, you need to learn certain principles, whether it's statistics or math or a little bit of basic science, that will at least put you a step ahead when you're faced with these kinds of bombastic information, or just something that's so wild and crazy or so different than what people are normally say that you have to say. And again, not to overquote my man, Bill Nye the Science Guy, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And that's always a great motto. Now, I understand the irony, because this video is all about not having evidence, but it's still possibly some wild claims. We don't have context. This is clearly an attack on the character, on the integrity of Dr. Fauci. And for all we know, it all might be true. But let's Occam's razor it a little bit. The simplest explanation is probably the most accurate. And let's take a step back and really, really understand that how science is made. You know, there is definitely bad science out there, but we need to understand as individuals, I guess, how to filter all this and how to be able to be more equipped. I understand the importance of the individual choice in the matter, but there are certain choices that affect other people. So as long as your choice is not undermining somebody else, it should be yours to make. This country is very individualistic, and I understand that this is something that people here hold dear to, the option and the choice. But, you know, some things we need to do as a group, and there needs to be unity, and there needs to be, you know, altruism. So specifically, I think that we should never fall into any extreme, the altruistic extreme nor the individualistic extreme. We should walk the middle road, maybe. Tough topic. Thanks for sharing.
Hello, Woke Warriors, and thank you so much for watching until the end. Don't forget to hit the like button. We invite you to join the conversation by writing a comment down below. And if you want to watch more videos like this, go ahead and click the links on the screen. We post a new video every Wednesday, so click that subscribe button to make sure you don't miss out. And we'll see you on the next one.